Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, Joe Melode, and we'll have other co-hosts join us eventually, but if not, let's go with the flow. So, introducing, currently in Pennsylvania, I give you Kim Langling.
Good morning. Good morning, Peter. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Anytime. So, tell me what you do.
Goodness. Well, I wear many hats. I have my own podcast called Let Fear Bounce. I'm also the host of an online streaming television show called The Right Stuff, and it's WRITE. So I feature authors from all over the world, from beginning authors just starting out to USA Today and New York Times bestselling authors. So I love to give authors a platform that they can share what they're doing and why it is that they write. I'm also an author myself, and I write a lot of short stories, and I do collaborative book projects. So, in a nutshell, that's what I do. I like to keep busy.
Wow, good for you. And what books have you written recently?
Well, the most recent was last year. It was a three-book faith-based series, actually, collaborative book projects, anthologies called When Grace Found Me. And I had women from all over the world, 60 women. There's 20 folks in each book sharing their stories of grace, of when they overcame struggles or life circumstances that just knocked them to their knees, and they were able to, through grace, get through the storm and come out the other end stronger. So that's a three-book series called When Grace Found Me, and I'm currently working on another anthology called When Hope Found Me. And again, it's just from people all over the world, men and women, this time sharing their stories of hope.
Nice. And also, you heard you running a project for authors in some sort of extent.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you on that one.
It's all right. I heard you were working on a project for authors to some extent. I can't remember exactly what I just said. But yeah, you said about a project for authors.
Oh, that's on my television show called The Right Stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
and I have authors. The show is nothing but authors. I have guest authors on sharing their story of why they write, where their ideas come from, and it's interesting. And it's been a really fun journey so far. That the folks they share, they're authors they're poets, they're award-winning poets. I've got horror authors, sci-fi authors, thrillers, romance. It's just all the different genres of writers out there, and their stories are just amazing. And it's my pleasure, actually, and humbling to be able to give them a platform where they can share their stories of why they write and how they came to be writing. Some started writing when they were very young, and some just started midlife or later in life, and they're finding mild or to great success. Or some of them are just like, I had stories in my head and I had to get them out, and it doesn't really matter to them whether they become world renowned writers or anything. But it's just I'm, as an author myself, I know how hard it is to get your stories out there and to find platforms that want to feature you. So I wanted to be one of those people that could feature other authors.
Great. And how long have you been running the right stuff for?
Well, I am currently in production of season 2 right now. So we record well in advance, and it's several months before the episodes are up and streaming online. They're streaming online in many different platforms like Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, Google Play, Sony Select, all kinds of different platforms. So I'm currently in production and recording season 2 right now, which is very exciting. And again, just the people I meet, they're just blessings. It's just amazing. And I love connecting with people from all over the world and finding out just how they tick.
Hmm, very nice. And have you ever thought about the books you have written, like actually turn into an actual show or movie itself?
No, I have not. I have not. But my goodness, some of the stories could certainly turn into something else, I am sure. But I've honestly not thought of that. I just like I like writing myself. So I've got all kinds of little stories that I've got written. I've yet to do anything with and take the time to put them together. But no, that's an interesting question. So now you've given me something to chew on here.
Okay, cool. You're welcome. And what else is going on in your life right now?
Goodness, what else is going on in my life? You know, you take it day by day. Um, you never know what's going to come at you. And my theory here is the world has become a very dark place. So what I try and do each day is toss little nuggets of hope out there into the world, whether it's to a person or I just make a cheesy little video and toss it out on Facebook or something. I that's what I try and do each day. And outside of writing, I've got my rescue dog named Dexter, and he is my office manager. And right now he's slacking on the job because he's taking a nap on the couch in a little spot of sunshine. So he's slacking on his office manager duties. But I spend a lot of time outdoors. I love walking out in nature. I live in the country where I'm at in the world, my little slice of the world. I'm in the United States. So right now it's absolutely beautiful here. All the trees are turning different colors and they're so vibrant and the smells have all changed. You know, Mother Nature, she's changing her wardrobe for us and getting ready for winter. So I spend a lot of time reading, writing, walking my dog, and talking to folks from all over the world.
Fabulous. Where would you see yourself 20 years from now?
20 years from now. Hmm. I'll have a lot more gray hair then. You know, I want to keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully 20 years from now, I can see myself having published many books, hopefully, of my own stories and expanded upon that. And hopefully, you know, I leave people I hope that people 20 years from now that have met me today, 20 years from now say, I remember that lady. Oh, that's the lady that was always tossing out nuggets of hope. You know, what a cool lady. That's what I hope for 20 years from now.
All right then. Great. And do you ever travel often?
Travel.
Yeah.
I used to travel quite regularly when I worked outside the home. When I was in the corporate world, I traveled domestically here in the United States as well as internationally. So I did spend some time in different countries in Europe for work related things and for pleasure as well. Spent some time in Europe and different countries. So, but the last few years, well, the world changed, of course, the last few years for everybody due to the pandemic. So I haven't done much traveling in the last few years, but I plan on making a change to that.
Interesting. Where is the most relaxing place you've been to?
The most relaxing,
Yeah.
huh? You know, I like the mountains. So there's mountains a couple hours from where I live, and just going there and walking the trails, staying in a small cabin. There's no internet connection unless you walk about 20 minutes up the mountain, you know, and you can maybe get some connection. That's probably been the most relaxing because you're just a small cabin up in the woods, you know, and just relaxing and all you're just surrounded by nature and it's just so calming and peaceful. And that's my happy place, being outside.
Hmm. Incredible. Would you rather be really hot or really cold?
Oh my goodness. One or the other. Probably cold because you could put layers on. And we get both of them where I live. So we're, you know, we're in fall right now, heading into winter, and it gets darn chilly. We get, you know, well below zero. So having the ability to put on many layers when you're too hot, you're just too hot. You can't do a whole lot about it. So I think I'd probably be cold, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like spicy food?
Spicy food. You know, not really. I used to when I was younger, but it just doesn't set with me well with me, and it doesn't taste as good anymore. So, not really. No, I typically pass on spicy food.
All right, fair enough. What is something that most people consider to be a luxury, but you don't think you could live without?
A luxury that I don't think I. Well, depends, I guess, on where you are in the world. Um, a vehicle, I guess, would be a luxury for a lot of people. And where I live, you couldn't live without a vehicle because you have to drive to get anywhere. Because I'm
Hmm.
I'm out in the country. But I guess a vehicle, I guess I could consider a luxury.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I never thought of it that way. If you could switch jobs with someone else for a week, what job would you like to try?
Oh my goodness. um, hmm. I don't. A horse trainer. That's
Hmm.
what I would like to do. If I could change for a week, I would like to train horses.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that just popped in my head. Not sure where it came from.
Sounds good. Would you rather never age physically or never age mentally?
Never age mentally. I am a goofball and a dork, and I'm in my mid 50s, and I don't feel my age. I don't act my age. I'm regularly told that by my mother. But I think yeah, I would rather not age mentally.
All right then. Sounds good. If you had a song for every time you enter the room, what would that song be?
Wow, you're tossing out some good ones here today.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Huh. The first one that pops in my head is Respect by Aretha Franklin.
Oh, okay.
And just like slamming through the door and your arms spread wide and your head thrown back and you're just singing that song out. Respect. That's how I see that. Just coming in with a blast and power. How's that sound?
Brilliant. I can actually feel it already.
I'm telling you, yeah, I'm sitting here, this is audio only, but I got my arms thrown back here.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I'd have to say right where I'm planted, right where I'm at. I've had the opportunity to visit different places and experience different cultures, which are all super interesting, and I love it. But I always want to get back home to my little slice of country and my back deck, and so I can watch the deer come into the yard each night and see all the critters and watch my dog sniff around and take long walks out in the field and the woods. So I think right where I'm planted right now is where I'd always want to be.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds nice. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I am a dog person. I have nothing against cats, but I
But
am a dog person.
so you prefer dogs then,
I definitely
mostly.
prefer dogs, yes.
All right. So fair. What is your favorite quote?
Favorite quote. You know, I don't really have a favorite scripture. Can I share that?
Yeah, sure. Share anything.
Um, and this is something that had great meaning for me years ago that got me over a very hard time. And the scripture is Isaiah 40 or 30, 41, I think. But those who hope in the Lord will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not faint. That's something that I turn to a lot when I have those tough days.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds great. Do you have any conspiracy theories that you think about constantly?
No, I don't actually. I look at the world as it's filled with very imperfect people. And a lot of times people try to turn things to their advantage and toss things out in the world where a lot of people, for whatever reason, believe or follow. I prefer not to be a sheeple. Um, I follow my own path and I see things how I see them. Hopefully, right or wrong, I see them for what they truly are. So I don't really fall into the whole conspiracy thing for anything, really.
Okay, fantastic. I respect you for that. What was the last concert you went to?
The last concert I went to was, where was I? Where was I? Uh, the last concert I went and saw a Journey tribute band this summer, and they were literally, they sounded and looked exactly like Journey from back in the 80s. And I'm a huge Journey fan, have been since they came out because I grew up to them, and it was just awesome. And I had not went to see a tribute band like that before, and they were amazing. And I worked my way right up front, and I sang every word to every song with my hands in the air.
All right then. Nice, nice. What is your favorite season?
Fall. Right now, what we're in right now, fall or autumn, however it is that you call it, that is my favorite season. It's a big, it's an absolutely beautiful time of year. The temperatures are perfect. The leaves are just, all these different colors and so vibrant. And then the scents that float on the breeze are amazing. And it's just, Mother Nature getting ready to make another big change. But it's like this last blast of, nature saying, here I am in all my beauty. So fall is definitely my favorite.
Ah, yes, absolutely. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
Back in time. I don't know if I'd want to live, but I would like to visit back in the 1800s, when there were people that they were the trailblazers. They were inventing and doing things to really move well, I'm going to say America because that's where I'm at, to move the country forward. And they were trailblazers, and they were I look at the folks back then as incredibly courageous, um, persistent, and much, much stronger mentally and physically than people are today. They had to work so hard each day just to survive. And now nowadays everybody takes everything for granted. Everything is taken for granted. And back then nothing was taken for granted because you were thankful to be able to put a meal on the table that night. So I wouldn't mind going back in time just to experience some of that and meet some of those people that were just, trailblazers and so strong mentally and physically. Just, I'm in awe of those folks that paved the way for the rest of us.
Hmm. Okay. Nice, nice. What was the longest trip you have ever taken?
Longest trip. I took 3 weeks to Germany. And that was and I love that country because it's, well, a lot of it is similar to where I'm at, Pennsylvania. But it was just immersing yourself into the culture and meeting people and going to all the different villages, because it's everything over there is just so different from in America. And I was able to learn as much German as I could, speaking it at a grade school level, but enough to get by. And I did find that, wherever I was at, the locals appreciated that I was at least trying. I was at least trying to speak their language. I might have really messed some of the sentences up, but they were very good natured about it. But yeah, longest trip to Germany, and it was very enjoyable being able to see so many different things and experience a different culture.
Yeah, it sure was. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
Talk to animals. I would definitely rather talk to animals, and I do on a daily basis. Like I said, I like to be out in nature, and animals, I feel, are smarter than humans. They're much more caring, and they do what they have to do to get through each day. And the circle of life, it's kind of, it's a harsh world out there for the critters. But just looking at my dog and the animals that I have that come in my area, they're the beauty is amazing. And to watch a mother deer with her baby deer, how protective, and how other animals protect each other. If a danger or a threat comes into the yard, the birds will start talking, and they're letting the other critters know. So they all look out for each other no matter what. And you don't find that with humans all the time. So I'd rather talk to animals.
I suppose you made a very good point there.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the best way to start the morning?
A cup of coffee and a walk with my dog. That's how I start my day every single day. Grab the coffee, throw on a jacket, and we're out in the woods and the fields for at least a half an hour walking.
Okay, great, great, great. Fantastic. Yeah. How much time do you spend on the internet?
um, oh goodness. Well, I work from home and I write a lot, and I do have a few clients that I help out. So working typically 6 to 8 hours a day, I'm typically on my computer, not necessarily on the internet. So I'm actually trying to spend less time on the internet because I don't like falling into those rabbit holes. So I don't know how. I've not timed myself, to be honest. I don't know, but I'm trying to do it less.
Okay, great. Fabulous. Who was the last person you talked to?
Besides you,
I guess so, yeah.
the last person I talked to, who was it? Oh, it was my aunt. My aunt, she's a senior citizen. I spoke with her last night. So she was telling me about her day. So that's the last person I spoke to was my aunt.
Hmm, that's nice. What is the most ridiculous fact that you know?
The most ridiculous fact that I know. Oh,
Hmm.
my brain is filled with tidbits of nonsense. Um, one of the most ridiculous facts that I know. If you pour beer on a slug, it will kill them and it won't ruin your flowers in your flower bed. Beer or
Wow.
salt. If you sprinkle salt on a slug or you put a little lid of something of beer, a little, maybe a jar lid of beer in your flower bed and you've got a problem with slugs, they will drink the beer and die. Or you can sprinkle salt on them and they die. It's pretty gross, but it works.
Hmm. Okay. I've never heard that fact before, but it seems very interesting the way you put it.
Well, see, there you go. I gave you a little tidbit of knowledge today.
Well, thank you for that.
You are welcome.
Oh yes. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
If someone were to write a book about me, I call myself the queen of the realm because where I live, it's my little slice of the world. It's my realm. And I call myself the queen of the realm. And I often share things on social media about what the queen and her dog Dexter are doing. And people are often, when I run into them in person, will say, what's the queen and Dexter been up to? So I think the title would have to have queen in it somewhere. Maybe it would just be called Queen of the Realm.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting title. That's gonna make a lot. That's gonna make a lot of sales. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. If you had to get rid of a holiday, which one would you get rid of?
I had to get rid of a holiday. Huh. This is probably not going to sound very nice, but Christmas.
What?
I know. I know. Um, it's to me, it's way, way over commercialized and too much money is spent on things that people really don't need. And it's actually a very, very sad time for a lot of people. It's a very difficult time for a lot of people. Yeah, you probably weren't expecting that answer, huh?
Oh yeah. I was not expecting that answer, but after what you said, you know what? It actually makes a lot of sense. It is
Yeah.
very
Now,
important.
the reason for the holiday, I would not get rid of the reason for the holiday, but the holiday itself. I mean, and I see a lot of people, and I know a lot of people. It's just an incredibly hard time for them, and they struggle. And so many people have lost loved ones lately, in the over the last few years, and holidays are really, really hard for a lot of people. And I don't think that people take the time because it's uncomfortable to recognize that and offer to people.
Yeah. I guess it all starts to add up now. And I definitely agree with that. Do you have any hidden talents?
Hidden talents. I'm actually not a bad singer.
Hmm.
I'm not a bad singer. I've been told that I can carry a tune quite nicely.
Okay. Great, great. Have you ever thought about living off the grid?
Yes. Yes, I have. I think it would be a lot more peaceful and you wouldn't have to deal with all the silliness that floats along the airwaves and the internet and all of that all the time. I would have to do a lot of research and a lot of learning on how to live off grid so I could self sustain. But I think in the long run, it would probably be worth it. But I don't know if I could do that at my age now because I'm getting older and it would be hard to be out there getting your own food, and growing all your own stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a tremendous amount of work, but I think I'm one that I could see myself doing that actually if given the opportunity.
Hmm. Okay, okay. What is the craziest thing you've ever done in your whole life?
The craziest thing I've ever done. Uh oh my goodness. I don't know. I honestly don't know the craziest thing. Oh, okay, here's one. I don't know if it's crazy. It's just, it was a little bit out of my comfort zone. I was visiting my brother, and he lives out in Las Vegas, and he was in a band for years and years, and had several albums. And this was a long time ago. I went out to visit him for a long weekend, and he had a show that weekend, and he and I always used to play around singing, and they were playing in a very large club. I mean, it was a large club, so hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in this club, and he had a rock band and he was the lead singer, and he's like, well, I'm going to bring my baby sister up here and we're going to sing a duet. And I looked at him like, are you flipping crazy? you know but I got up there and sang with him and the crowd went wild. But it was, it was fun, and it was nothing that I had ever done before, to sing in front of people like that, especially hundreds of them in this big old club out in Vegas. They're there to see this band who was awesome. And then, he's like, oh, my baby sister's out here for the weekend. She's going to come up and sing with me. And so, yeah, I guess that was probably at the time a little crazy for me, way outside my comfort zone. But gosh, it was fun.
Oh, yes. And that is all we have for this episode. It's great having you here, Kim, talking about your work as an author, your show, the right stuff, and a lot of other things. It's been amazing.
No, this has been fun. And thanks for all the random questions. I mean, that was fun. You got my brain thinking this morning. So thank you.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay opinionated.